yung ating last speaker who would synthesize everything. He is the entrepreneur guru and our chairman and emeritus sa PCCI, our Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Quezon City. When I'm with the PCCI, hindi lang niya alam, he opens a lot of doors kasi yung mga trainings needed for, hindi ko nga alam kung alam nilang micro ang aking status noon. Pero they never hinder yung estado sa pag-open ng opportunity and partnership. So siya po yung talagang mabilis mag-open o magbigay ng openings doon sa mga fellow members at saka sa mga fellow groups. He is the voice of entrepreneurship medyo matagal na sa radyo negosyo. So hindi lang siya voice, pati yung in practice, walks the talk, na yung kanyang mga negosyo in terms of branding, siya po ay kilala o yung tinatawag ng CBRC. He also has a TV, so you can follow later kung ano yung link na yon. So hindi ko na po patatagalin. Let's all welcome Dr. Carl Balita.
Hi, thank you very much, RC. Hi, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Hi, Dr. Carl.
Greetings from where I am in Quezon City, my home. Yeah, preparing to proceed to ABS-CBN because I'll have a show at 7 o'clock, Business Above Usual, which is the new name of Radyo Negosyo. No? Actually, this is my 5th engagement today.
Wow!
No?
Salamat po at napagbigyan kami on a short notice.
Yeah, and the highlights of my day, I have to say this, the highlight of my day is I had an interview with Chinkitan sometime in the morning. That's after I brought my dog to a veterinarian for an emergency. Then that was followed by another one, and just before this, we launched our Masters in Business Administration program, the Dr. Carl Balita Executive Education Program at the Pan Pacific University. And now I'm here. Then later on, I'll just take my car from here and go to ABS-CBN for the next final part of my day. Then movie night with my family after dinner. And tomorrow is Sunday. I'll go to Centris, to the Sunday market and cook lunch for the family and prepare myself for a heavy last week of January. Why do I have to tell you my day and ano bang pakialam niyo sa araw ko at ano bang pakialam ko sa araw niyo? This every day is a beginning of something new. As for me, I think important synthesis of everything. Every once in a while, pumapasok ako to listen to talks. I was very glad to hear it from Joey. Thank you for quoting my Better is Better Than Best chapter in my book. But come to think of it, it's all about growth. I will always say that the person you bring to bed tonight should be the better version of that person that woke up on that same bed. No, yung taong nagising sa kama mo na dinala mo sa buong araw mo, kailangan pag inuwi mo siya mamaya sa kama mo, mamayang gabi, kailangan better version siya ng self niya. Otherwise, what have you done? We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about so many learning opportunities in the open space, in the cyberspace. That looks good. That's okay. That's fine. Marami tayong natututunan. But more importantly, how have we become? Ang challenge ko nga nun, kung yung kinain mong mangga noong March 15, tinanim mo sa bakuran mo, malamang yung manggang yon mas malaki pa sa'yo. And probably next year, magbubunga na ng mangga yon. Pero kung ang tinanim mo kangkong, malamang ang kapal-kapal na kangkong na yon, pero hindi yun kagaya ng manggang itinanim mo. What have you planted in 2020 that will give you the second wind? That's the point. That would give you the second wind to greater opportunity of what you call the new normal, which I refuse to call the new normal. Because for me to say it a new normal, you're like forced into it. I want to call it the better normal. I will always use this slide, RC. I think you have seen this when I presented it in one of my talks. The challenge is, will the square peg fit in the round hole? Maybe I should ask you, will the square peg fit in the round hole? And let the audience think about it. And look at the picture and ask yourself, will this Square peg fit in the round hole. Now that you have an answer, well, the answer need not be a yes or a no. Okay, the answer is it depends upon, the best answer is it depends upon what it is made of. If this is made of wood or made of steel or made of marble or even, you know, any hard material, I'm sure it's gonna fit unless you change the form. But if this wood or if these materials are made of pliable materials like foam, I'm sure you know it's gonna fit. Now the question is your business go ready for the future? The answer is not a yes or a no. The answer is it depends upon what you're made of. And even as we change the question, are your people ready for the future? The answer is still not yes or a no. It depends upon the future. I mean, it depends upon what you are made of. You know, sabi natin, ang 2020 ay VUCA World. Alam mo yung VUCA World, matagal nang pinag-uusapan yan. The VUCA World it's an acronym created by the US Army who went to Afghanistan and Iraq, who were so trained in the United States to fight any kind of war. But, you know, they realized that they almost lost the war. In fact, they lost the war. And when they went back to the US, they said that they almost lost, or whatever they want to call that kind of victory they carried going back home. And they said, because of the VUCA world. And the VUCA world was very challenging. The VUCA world, the V stands for volatility. Volatility is meaning the rate of change is just so fast that what is true today may not be true tomorrow. Yeah? Just like the GCQ today, okay, maybe ECQ tomorrow. You know, the relaxed mode that we have right now, maybe lockdown tomorrow, you know, because the new variant, by the way, is here. You know, London locked down twice, I mean, for the second time, and the progressive Europe became, you know, the epicenter of the second wave. Think about it, changes are happening so fast, volatile indeed. U stands for uncertainty. Uncertainty, we're not sure of anything. You know, the predictability of the future is very small. I mean, even the present, you cannot even predict what will happen later. More so, you cannot predict what will happen tomorrow. So that's really uncertain. C stands for complex, the complexity. You know, there are just so much to consider when you make this decision. Like if you start a business now, you're not only concerned about whether you have capital or not, but whether you are in the right business or not, whether you can sustain the business or not, will your people be there for you or not, and so much complexity that you have to put into the table to make a good decision. And lastly, A stands for ambiguity, because it's very confusing. Everything is very confusing now. You know, when Duterte speaks and even after Roque follows, then confusion gets worse. Then when Duque speaks and, you know, everything becomes more ambiguous, more confusing. You see, the social media is confusing us, all right? Because you don't know anymore what's right and what's wrong, what's fake and what's real. So the VUCA world was presented by the the US Army. And then the corporate world were listening, and the corporate world said, yes, it's not only true to the military. We are also actually also in the VUCA world where there's volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And that's really the truth about the current times. It's a VUCA world. But I don't want to remember 2020 as the year that we were afraid, the year that we were, you know, that we stagnated, the year that we had to close business and we lost jobs. I want to remember 2020 as the year when humanity had to reboot so that we will be in control better of our future. You know, the big and the small businesses now are moving in the same space. You know, the Louis Vuitton is now competing in the same space where Harley, you know, the guy who's search him, making leather goods, they're actually competing in the same space. You know, the Maxis is competing with the balut vendor by the outsider village, you know. And the big and the small are relatively dependent on how they actually would see the competition or the collaboration or even cooperation along the way. So I don't want to be, I don't want to remember 2020 or 2021 as the year that killed many people. Okay, I want to remember 2020 as the year that we all realized that, you know, the rich and the poor are, are equally afraid of the same virus that we cannot see. You know, that even the Pope and the beggar in the streets share the same, same prayer and protective prayer so that they will not get the virus. The thing is, I think the COVID-19 and the pandemic experience became our great equalizer. And if we look at this in the VUCA world, I would like to propose that the volatility be converted to another V, which is vision. I think this is the time that everyone should pause, slow down, and reflect upon what is your vision? The vision which is the ideal state of the future. You know, the ideal state of the future. I have so much stories to tell you because every Saturday I'm privileged to be in a 2-hour show since the pandemic. And I'm interviewing people who somehow made success out of the pandemic experience. You know, vision. So forget about the volatility, focus on the vision. What do you want to be? What do you see yourself 5 years from now? How do you see yourself 5 years from now? You know, let's go to you. Uncertainty. Don't you think that the more uncertain you are, the more we should take effort to understand? That uncertainty should be replaced by understanding. Don't you think that 2020 is the year that we wanted to understand? Understand the members of the family that we never had a chance to be with for the longest time. You know, there are people whom you have worked with for many years, but you never had the chance to have a real chit chat, which is now very possible through Zoom and other platforms. Yeah. So the uncertainty should be replaced by understanding. Complexity. Don't you think that the more complex things are, the more we should endeavor to seek clarity? And therefore, complexity should be converted to clarity. And lastly, ambiguity. Don't you think that ambiguity should be replaced by agility? Okay, where we need to collaborate. Are you in the mood for competition now? No. Because the world realized that your money, our money, cannot bring us anywhere. That even the richest of the rich cannot even, enjoy shaking hands with people they actually want to shake hands with. Think about it. I think the lesson of the pandemic um, is a good reflection for entrepreneurs like us. And today I have synthesized, I have looked into what other speakers mentioned, including my very good friend, Sara De La Raya, Boots Bartolome and of course, Alfred Carandang and others. I would like to propose um, some keywords that we need to, by the way, before that, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. If there's a magic word that we should have attained and achieved in these pandemic times, it's the word learning. What have we learned? It's not about how much have you earned or what did you lose? What are you losing? No? What have we learned? And I'd like to propose today, as you remember this activity that, congratulations, by the way, RC, for organizing this and for the members of the team. I know your time has come, RC. You know, your time has come. You have been talking about digital transformation at the moment when none of our members would like to listen to you. Believe me, it's not that you don't have to be very good looking or excellent speaker, but even if you're the most good looking man in our group, or even if you become the most eloquent speaker in our group, at that time when you started talking about, ML, they will probably think, okay, ML, Mobile Legend, they won't recognize that as machine learning. When you say AI, they'll probably say, what is that? What animal is that? And robotics, they'll probably remember Voltes 5 instead of other robots that are currently available. The thing is, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine because I think technology. You've been very passionate about this, and I think you have somehow mastered it at certain degree, at certain level. And thanks for taking a pioneering move to really, I was one of those who witnessed how you are very passionate talking about it, and where others were saying, huh, who cares? Diba? You were not interesting. Not because you were not interesting, but they were not interested. But now, no one can close their eyes to the fact that, hey, you have to bank online. No, online banking did not happen after the pandemic. Hey, you have to order online. Of course, e-commerce had been here for decades. You see, the thing is, it's the time for us to realize that digitization is not the thing, even digitalization is not the thing, but digital transformation should be the thing. And if you are listening to me with interest to grow more and beyond, then you should understand fully what digital transformation is. I went to Stanford. I went to National University of Singapore. I studied international management in those universities. And even last year, we were not, 2019, we were talking about disruptions, but we were not talking of pandemic disruptions. We were talking about the fourth industrial revolution, the fire. You see, that's what we were talking about. And that was what we were anticipating as the great disruption of our times. But hey, we woke up one day that the big disruption was not that coming from the triple W dot. It did not come from the cyberspace. It didn't come from the bits and the bytes, but it came from the unseen virus. And mind you, the pandemic, the coronavirus accelerated our need to embrace digital transformation. I think if there is a benefit that humanity gained, it's not only compassion, it's not only our stewardship, which brought out the best in people, it's not only our empathy, it's not only our creativity and innovativeness, but I think it is our necessity to embrace the digital resources available for us for the longest time. And let me summarize what you have discussed today in 4 words that has a pair. The first word I want to use to summarize everything is agility. Agility is what you do in pivot. And pivot is what you do when you keep one foot on the ground and you twist the other foot, just like in basketball, so that you will change direction with the end in mind that you will need to shoot the ball. The thing is, pivot is when you keep one of your feet on the ground, okay? And that's to make you grounded with the reality. And the other foot moves around so that it could create a direction with the end in mind to shoot the ball. That's pivot. Agility. One of the major elements of agility is vision. If you don't have a vision, if you don't know as a basketball player, as I was describing pivot as a sports term, if you don't know which court is your court, then you'll probably not gain a point. The thing is, but you will be called for a foul of traveling if you don't keep one of your feet on the ground. The thing is, how does that relate to business? Well, one of your feet should be on the ground and your other foot should navigate so that it can recreate the movement, the motion, as it is discussed also in this event. And such motion leads you to the vision, which is, of course, shoot the ball. Right? That's why the associated word with agility is vision. You see? And if your vision now is to create money, to make money, forget it. I'm telling you. If 7-Eleven will say that they're losing $500 million pesos, and you know that 7-Eleven at a single day that 7-Eleven closed, if they're the one saying that, then how is your sari-sari store doing? You see? If Max's is saying that they have lost how many percent of their sales, and Jollibee had to close half of their stores, hello, good luck naman sa store mo. Good luck naman sa karinderya mo. But you know, whether you're Jollibee or whether you're a karinderya, if there is clarity of vision and there is agility and ability to pivot, then you'll probably have more proportionate success than Jollibee because they lost money. They're losing money. You see? So remember agility. And that's well covered with the conversations today. Another one is execution. You know, don't plan now. To be honest, I made a year-end planning, but we did not come up with a plan. How can you plan when you're not even sure if there will be a board exam in the case of my review center? How could you plan when people can hardly afford their food on the table and they would review in my review center? How could I plan if I'm not even sure how long can I sustain my people? So it's all about execution now. And that's also associated with agility. You know, plan well. I mean, hello, ngayon ka pa nagplano na hindi mo alam ang circumstances. You see, I'm not saying don't plan, you know, but planning is only as good as your ability to execute it. You know, I have to tell you that the purpose is greater than the plan. All right? And execution, it's what it's all about. How can you plan when your people are so stressed, their mental health is suffering? How can you get a good plan? And that's why, what do we need to do? Execute. Now, you're lucky if your organization has a good culture. You know, just like in my business. I created for so many years, I was so obsessed creating that culture that it will run in its own fuel without my direction. The thing is, because I believe that leadership is most effective when the results are achieved in the absence of a leader. That means everybody's moving in the same direction, and the biggest source of that, influence is actually the vision. Where you're going. If you're a leader and you cannot communicate to your team where you're going, do you think they'll follow? They won't follow. But if you know exactly where you're going, which is the vision, the ideal state of the future, then there's no point that they will not follow. But there's something more beyond execution. And that is what? You cannot do it alone. You need collaboration. Execute not alone. You need to collaborate. If it's only now that you will learn digital transformation, oh my God, the next level is over. So you better collaborate. Find RC. Find consultants. Collaborate. Because it may be too late if you will just go back to the beginning and reinvent what is already invented. So think about it. Okay, execution. Another concept that I want to resurface as I synthesize your day is opportunity. You know, there will always be opportunity. You know, but you know, people who are lucky are those who were ready when opportunity came. I have a formula in my book. I'm sure Joey will still remember that in my book, I have a formula for luck. Luck equals opportunity times preparedness. Okay, opportunity times preparedness. You know, without opportunity, even if you're prepared, you're not lucky. You know, if you're so prepared, if there's no opportunity, you're not lucky. But if opportunity comes, that's why I made a times rather than a plus. Oprah said, luck equals opportunity plus preparedness. I don't agree, you know, because if you only give a plus, you know, one opportunity plus zero preparedness equals one luck. No, I said times, because if one is zero, the product is zero. You see, opportunity. There will always be opportunity. Pero tanong ko, ano bang ginawa mo kasi? Ano bang ginawa mo? I'll be very frank with you, with the audience here. What have you done in the pandemic? I bet. Yeah? Ilang Korean novela natapos mo? Ilang pelikula sa Netflix ang pinaglamayan mo? Yeah? Ilang chismis ang naipasa mo? Yeah. Ilang oras ka natutulog? I mean, let's face it. Updated ka nga sa Dasera case eh. Pero hindi ka updated sa peso exchange rate. You see? And you want to be rich. You see? The thing is, opportunity will always be there. Even in crisis. Remember that some of the big brands were born after world wars. You know, some of the richest people in this planet were those who saw opportunity after the war. And hello, the magnitude of the disruption, the disruption and the destruction of the world is not even comparable to the wars that our foreparents have won and have survived. Ang swerte-swerte natin, walang nalalaglag na bomba. Yeah? So sa Mario Joseph, mask na nga lang ilalagay mo, ang dami mo pang problema. Face shield na nga lang pinalalagay siya, ang dami mo pang reklamo. Diba? Yun lang ang hinihingi sa'yo. E paano na lang kung ang senaryo natin may bumabagsak na bomba kung saan-saan at may namamatay at kailangan mo lumikas. Yeah? Ang yabang-yabang ng iba kung makapag-display ng mga plantitas and plantitos, ng mga magagandang halaman, fine. Maraming yumaman kasi maraming gaya-gaya eh. 'Di ba? Makakita lang ng malaki, kailangan bumili rin palakihan. Ganun naman sila eh. Hayaan mo sila. O, pero kung ang tinanim mo kaya doon ni kamatis, edi hindi ka na bumibili. O, did you know that there's a study na pag may 5 kang puno ng kamatis, 5 punong talong, 5 punong okra, 5 punong sitaw at isang timba na mayroong talbos ng kamote, do you know that you don't have to actually buy vegetable for your pakbet and for your sinigang? Do you know that sili is 1,000 per kilo now? That you can actually plant 10 silis and you can create 10 kilos, 1 kilo of sili every week. Think about it. The thing is, what have you done? And you're looking for opportunities. You're claiming that there's no opportunity. You're complaining that opportunities are gone. Come on. Now, you can only see opportunity when you're ready to grow. And growth is what ensures that you're ready for the opportunity. Let me tell you, we have a resort. And you know naman, tourism is the first to close and the last to open. Okay, what did we do with the resort? During the time of the quarantine, I instructed my people, all right, let's take every picture, every corner of our Instagrammable resort. Put positive quotations in those spots. Share it in social media. And people were sharing our pictures. What they did not realize is that they're sharing the picture of my resort in Oriental Mindoro, in Mahalta. And then they become curious. Ang ganda dito, where is this? Saan to? And they become curious. Oh, talaga may ganyan? Ganyan kaganda doon? And what happened? Up to now, since the holidays, up to now, we're fully booked. Are we lucky? No. We have grown. We have grown. And that growth will not come from your people. Ito tandaan nyo. Ito tandaan nyo lahat ng may negosyo dito. Tandaan nyo to. People won't follow what you say. They can only follow what you do. And people want to do their job well. Ang tanong ko, naituro mo ba sa kanila kung paano gagawin ang gusto mong mangyari? Have you guided them enough? Have you mentored them enough? The thing is, have you grown them enough? But you cannot pour for an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Right? So what do? You grow first. Then they follow. That's it. That's the thing. Prove to your people that you're growing, and then you realize that they'll grow with you. You see? And show them how difficult life is and how you're also struggling to succeed. And they will follow. Ganun kami. Ganun ako. Kaya pag nagturo ako 9 hours, 10 hours, and not because nag-OOA ako, but hardly would you see me eat in between. And then, kung janitor kita na hindi mo maayos ang gamit mo, hiyang-hiya naman ako sa'yo, yung amo mo 10 oras nagsasalita, nakatayo. You see? Now, it's not about you doing it, but it's about you growing them so that they do it the way you want it. Because hindi lalaki negosyo nyo kung kayo lang. And tandaan nyo, leadership in the speed of trust. If you cannot trust, you cannot lead. If you cannot lead, you cannot grow. And growth should be intentional. Remember that. Growth should be intentional. Ang tanong ko sa lahat ng nandito, anong libro ang nabasa mo noong pandemic? Anong magandang article ang nabasa mo noong pandemic? In 2020, nabasa mo ba ang mga articles ko sa Business Mirror? Wow, ma-promote lang. If you want some good reads, everyone is there right for the Business Mirror. Yeah. Lastly, the next concept is strategy. Strategy where you're clear, because strategy can only be a strategy if there is purpose. Strategy anchored on purpose, not strategy anchored on your competitor's strategy. The problem with you is nakita mo sa competitor mo, ginaya mo. Anong nangyari sa'yo? Eh din, you kill each other. You fought in the red ocean. And what happens? It's red because it's bloody. Ano paglalabanan yung presyo? Hilahan kayo ng presyo. Because you're offering a similar product or a similar service from the similar source, sold by your similar people, in the similar organization, for the similar price. Anong ending? Di patayan kayo in the end. Think about it. Look at what happened to me. I was informed the other day that kukunti pa daw enrollee namin sa doctor's review, physician's review. Sir, March na po yung exam. Kukunti pa po estudyante natin. It's not even sustainable. Okay. Why? Sir, nasa kabila po, nasa kalaban po natin yung mga doctors, mga aspiring doctors. Kako, ang ganda ng lineup natin. We have better lineup. Yes, sir. Pero by branding, sila po ang mas nauna, mas kilala. Okay, fine. Sir, i-abort na po ba natin yung program para po huwag tayo malugi? How much are we spending on faculty? Because you know, what do I care about my people? I'm paying them anyway. How much is our direct cost, faculty cost? Sinabi sa akin ng presyo. Anong ginawa ko? Tumawag ako sa isang organization. Anong sabi ko sa isang organization? The Federation of Filipino-Chinese of Commerce and Industry. Sabi ko sa presidente, Mr. President, how do you want to sponsor aspiring doctors in their review so that they will pass the board and they can join our workforce in this pandemic? Wow, beautiful. Sir, we have a complete program. We have the best people. We have like the likes of Tony Liachon. We have the likes of Bu Castro, the best lecturers. And this is the amount that I need so that I can pay my faculty and I can absorb 1,000 doctors. And they begin to compute, oh my God, what a cheap way to help every doctor that you can think of. Why 1,000? Because, you know, if I run a program for 10 and 1,000, I'll pay the same Zoom subscription anyway. You know what happened? I launched it the other night. Now I have 800 scholars as I speak. I need 200 more. And what's the value of this? Purpose. Is my purpose to earn? No. It's my purpose to make profit? No. But it's my purpose to prove that I have a good program? Of course. Is my purpose to prove that I can produce top-notchers more than the others can? Of course. Is my purpose to gain attention so that people will talk about our review center and say they have a physician's review, which we never had before pandemic. I used to offer only 5 programs prior to the pandemic. Now I have 25 programs. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord, that COVID-19 came. Because then we were happy with 5, now we have 25. Think about it. See? So these are the words I want to synthesize today's event with for you. And please take note that it has an acronym.
Yeah, I think I was surprised. It's AEOS.
AEOS. The event is what you have to remember. And these words are what you have to remember. But the first words are nothing unless you go to the second level. And see you next year, because next year I'll add up another set of words in the third wind.
Wow.
The first
Okay,
win, let's talk about agility, execution, opportunity, and strategy. All of these are empty unless you go to the second win when you talk about the vision, collaboration, growth, and purpose. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat, RC.
thank you, Dr. Carl. Kung meron ng palakpak dito, thank you so much, Dr. Carl. It was a surprise, even in acronym to our community. And hopefully, next event, pwede pa ho tayong maimbitahan. So I guess meron pa hong Dr. Carl covers entrepreneurship from ground to above. He has these entrepreneurs' footprints and business above usual. So all you have to do is just go there, follow him, all the programs, join your local chamber. If you're in Quezon City, meron po dyan yung PCCI Quezon City. So maraming salamat po sa lahat. We don't want to give you a lengthy lessons, 7 words, and Dr. Carl's synthesis are more than enough. It will echo, not just for this year, but for the next year. Of course, kasi may recording and show notes, this will echo absolutely. So from our community, the community of entrepreneurs and online sellers, from our team, si Sir Mike, si Sir James, si Ma'am Eva, and for the other teams that we supported, even yung first year and second year namin, na kahit papaano nandoon, even to Space.io, ito po yung ating media center kay Sir Joel, and to all our guest speakers from Sir Boots Bartolome, franchise guru, Catherine Castro, to talk about the numbers, Ma'am Sara De La Raya Mateo, our PCCI QC President, Architect Alfred Carandang, my good friend and also part of the Board of Trustees of PCCI Quezon City, and Dr. Samuel Ramos, who is also in the business of helping others, and to Jason De La Rosa, who started the movement Bounce Back. So all of these things kailangan din nila, and to Sir Joey Espiritu, who the mind of an entrepreneur, and of course Dr. Carl Balita. We would like to thank you all for sharing your thoughts, and 2021, from all the good news that I've heard for the whole day. It's different that I'm expecting yung may naapektuhan, but it's a positive thing that we can carry, and we will rise and we will bounce back, and hopefully we can soar like our last speaker, who's talagang Daddy Eagle ang tinatawag sa kanya. Thank you again. Maraming salamat sa lahat nagsubaybay na nakinig at nanonood. Thank you, everyone.